Good morning. My name is Patrick Griffin, and I'm joined today by Richard Barber and Maurice Brazeau, and we are members of Turners Anonymous, a local wood-turning group here in western Pennsylvania. Richard, what can you tell us about Turners Anonymous?
Well, Turners Anonymous is a group of about 100 or so wood turners that from around the tri-state area that like to turn on a lathe with wood. They like a clean cut from on the wood from the smell of a freshly, piece of cherry that's just been cut, that kind of thing. And it's also an excuse to buy expensive tools. Mm-hmm. So we all joke about that. But anyway, we explore as a hobby and turning, as you can say, the display that we have here of various things that are useful and decorative.
Maurice, what can you tell us about Turners Anonymous and its mission?
What we do at Turners Anonymous is we try to help educate junior turners and share information about turning with our club members. A couple years ago there was a national symposium where turners from around the country were here, and sometimes we go to other cities for that to share information about turning and techniques and what things people are actually turning.
Okay. Richard, where does Turners Anonymous currently meet?
We currently meet basically downtown Pittsburgh in the Strip District. It's a place called the Contemporary Craft Center within the Strip District. It's at 2100 Smallman Street, downtown Pittsburgh. However, that's through the end of this year, which is May for us. And we will be moving, and we haven't really discovered our next site, but we will be moving for in basically the end of 2019 and 2020.
Okay. And who is eligible to join Turners Anonymous, and how would they go about doing so?
Well, just about anybody that's got an interest in wood would be eligible to join. You just have to have an interest in the hobby. How you'd go about joining? We have primarily, I'd recommend a website, our website, Turners Anonymous website, www.turnersanonymous.com.
Org.
I'm sorry? Org. You're right. And it has all the information there. Essentially, if my telephone numbers on there as well as yours and Maurice's here, call any of us. But I'm the membership chair, so give me a call and I'll send you an email. We'll establish some contact information, and we'll basically ask you your name and your telephone number and address and that kind of thing. Our membership actually is a very reasonable $30 a year. It's a really a cheap membership, relatively speaking, for what you get. But that's how you'd contact us and get involved.
Yes, we meet basically from September through to May.
Correct.
And we meet on the third Saturday of every month, and we meet at 10 o'clock is when our meeting starts, and usually ends about noon. We do have a social time, which begins about 9 o'clock in the morning. Maurice, can you tell us about our special events? And I know we have one coming up in the month of April.
Yes. I'm just going to add one thing. If anybody's watching and they want to come down in April this year, don't come down in the third week of April.
Yes.
Because it's actually down at the following week.
Yes,
Right,
because
that's
the
correct.
third week in April is Easter weekend, and we're not meeting then.
So usually twice a year we have renowned turners from around the country, even the world, come into our club and give us demonstrations where they show us what they're doing. As an example, this is a bowl called the Viking Sunset Bowl, and that was done during a class with Nick Agar from England. He came over, and what he'll normally do is give a Saturday demonstration to the club, and then if you want, you can elect to take a class with him on Sunday or Monday, this is how this bowl was developed, was during that class with him.
Okay. And Richard, could you sort of talk about our association with the national group?
Yeah, we're associated with the American Association of Woodworkers, or AAW, and they basically sponsor our chapter of their organization. So we're affiliated with them, and there's any number of reasons with that. But it's a good organization. Again, it provides a lot of different benefits, with videos and how-tos and access to discounts on woodworking products, those kinds of things. And they sponsor national symposiums, and in fact I think they have the one they have come up is Raleigh, North Carolina in July. But in any event, that's our association with them, and they provide kind of, if you will, in many cases, sponsorship cover with regard to legal aspects of having a club like ours.
Yes. And this year, the International Symposium is in Raleigh, and it's in July of this year.
Correct.
We just finished a display of our work at the Pittsburgh Airport, and this was from, I think it was Christmas until
End of February.
End of February, and it was on the air side.
No, it was on the ground side.
Oh, it was land side part of the
side.
terminal. So we did have, 3 cases there?
Actually, there were
Six.
Six cases.
Six cases.
6 cases of parts from our membership that exhibited our craft of wood turning. Richard, how did you become involved?
I wish I'd found this organization early on. I've only been actually turning wood for the past maybe 3 years. I fully retired about 5 years ago and had a lathe in my shop, and my wife gave me, and I hadn't touched it because I was scared of it. But in any event, the quick answer is I started going to Rockler and Woodcraft demos and got interested in it, and were ultimately recommended that I join the Turners Anonymous, which I've done, and it's been a real benefit. There's a lot of camaraderie, everybody's there wants to share their stories of success and failure. Failure, you usually learn a lot more how to do things. The better, like any kind of a skill building hobby, the learning curve is where you really build your experience and your knowledge about how to do things.
And what kind of projects do you typically do?
Well, I got a couple of them here. There's some bottle stoppers out there. There's some perfume atomizers, pins. I did this bowl actually at a class just about 3 weeks ago, and I'm trying to get into more artistic type of things like lidded boxes and some natural edge stuff like Maurice has here.
Yeah. Maurice, how did you get involved in wood turning?
Years ago, I was doing a lot of some flat work. I was making some coffee tables and so on. And one of the tables that we were making, we wanted some round legs for it. And so the missus just said, actually ended up buying a small lathe for me for Christmas. And started working with that and got into doing a number of other projects as well, making some pens and some bottle stoppers and some bowls. Mm-hmm. As you can see here, I made a bowl for her knitting, so it just holds the yarn and then holds the needles, so it has a little bit of a decorative thing on the front to hold it in place. So she pulls the yarn out, it stays in place. For one of the ladies here, she had a peach tree that was dying, and I made her this decorative bowl here, along with a pen, pencil, letter opener, and a couple bottle stoppers from her tree and the tree was from her dad. So, these are kinds of things I make.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I got involved in woodworking when I was in high school, and learned to turn in high school. And then basically, after I graduated from high school, I didn't have the time or the money to continue turning. And it was about 12 years ago that I got back into turning and joined Turners Anonymous to learn more about how to do things. Do you do projects similar to Richard, or are yours more decorative and what kind of embellishments have you used on your turning projects?
I make bowls. I made myself a couple of salad bowls, fairly nice large cherry salad bowls that I've made. So that's functional. I've made some pens that I actually use. Like I said here, I made the pen, pencil, and letter opener set that'll be used. I do make some decorative things, as this one here. It's not a functional bowl. You can't eat off of it, but because of the natural edge that's on there, the bark will contain bacteria and stuff, but it's sealed up, but you still can't eat off of it. Got this one here that, again, is just a decorative piece that you can look around and, you know, put up on a shelf. The knitting bowl is actually used. She uses that when she knits, so. a bunch of different
How
things.
did you put the metallic and the, make it look like metal on that particular bowl?
I can't remember the exact name of the product, but that's just a little paste that you get a little bit on your finger, and it goes a long way. You're just putting some on the top, and it just, you just do that as sitting on the lathe, and you just smear it on a bit, and then you wipe a bit of it off, and you just leave it dry, and that's how it looks. A lot of people actually think there's metal on this. In actuality, this is just a wood platter with this paste.
With a metallic finish on it?
Correct.
Yes. How can people learn more about Turner's Anonymous, Richard?
Well, contact us at www.turnersanonymous.org. That's our website. It's got all our phone numbers on there. It's got our emails. That's the best way. Or you can just call us by telephone and we'll interview you and get in touch. One of the best things is come to our meetings. Be a guest
Exactly.
at one of our meetings. We love to have guests. You can meet some of the guys, listen to our demo if we have one, and just share information. But that's we've gained quite a number of new members just by being referred to the meeting and showing up with one day, one Saturday.
Maurice, can you give us more information on the types of presenters and demonstrations we have at our typical monthly meetings, aside from what we do with the special presenters who come in?
As I stated, there's twice a year usually that we have a professional turner coming in and presenting to us. Other times we have people that are more local that'll come in. We had a gentleman, I can't remember his name, from Penn State talking about trees and how they should be harvested and so on for turning. At other months we have just members of the club doing some turning, demoing, showing how things are, how we do different things, some of the different projects. And in December we actually have an exchange where we make Christmas ornaments and we bring them in and we line them all up across the front of our studio. And everybody picks a number, and then as your number is called, you go up and pick one, and the corresponding person comes up and you talk about how you made it, and it's just an exchange that we do every year, so you get a flavor of what other people are doing. So it's either a Christmas ornament or a lidded box that we do. Other times we've had some of our members come in and show us how they make little figurines and so on.
Yes, in our May meeting, one of our board members, she's actually going to make, I think it's mice or something. She's going to show us how she turns mice figurines. Last year she showed us how she made a penguin, and she also showed us how she did a replica of the Stanley Cup. And that was all very interesting. We have members that come in and do segmented work as well and show us how they do segmented urns and bowls and that type of thing. And before each of our meetings, in our social hour, we have like a theme of the month, and people will bring in parts that they have turned in the last month to just demonstrate what they're doing in their spare time on the lathe. It's a very addicting hobby. When you get on the lathe, your time will pass very quickly, and you can. Some people have very elaborate woodworking studios. Others just have a garage like myself where I turn, which makes it difficult to turn in the winter months. But it is a very satisfying hobby. We do have hands-on meetings. I don't think we talked about that, where we try and set aside at least one or two meetings a year where we set up lathes and we will teach people how to turn a specific item. And so they will get to actually get a hands-on with the tools and have someone that's experienced assist them in turning that object. So
Just to add on to that, one year they were making, on the hands-on, making some pens. Another time they were making bottle stoppers. And another time they were making ice cream and coffee scoops. So just as an example of what they do in those
And
hands-on
usually
processes.
when we have our hands-on meeting, a person can, for I think a nominal fee of about $5, take what they produced home. And if they don't want to, then the club donates that to the veterans up in Butler, the Veterans Hospital, where it's then given to a vet to use for a Christmas gift to one of their family members. So we do have that as an outreach as well.
Yeah,
Maurice?
I just like to add on those hands-on sessions. They're very good because you know, some of our members are actually professional turners in their own right, and you learn a lot. I have to. One thing I'll say is one of the major. I have yet to go to a meeting. I don't think I've only missed one meeting due to travel. But there's not a meeting goes by that I don't pick up a tip or a suggestion that aids in my own ability to work with the lathe. It's very informative.
Maurice, is there, as we're coming to a close, anything you would like to add that we haven't covered yet?
I'd just like to say, come out and join us. We enjoy having new people come out to the club. Maybe you'll enjoy yourself and join the club and help spread the information about turning.
Okay. Anything you'd like to add, Maurice?
No, I think we've covered just about all of it.
Okay. Well, I would like to thank Moon Access TV for allowing us this time to speak during their Public Awareness Weekend. And if you get a chance, come out to our meetings, and I think you'll enjoy what we do. Thank you.